What's up, interwebs? It's me, KioKilla, and today I'm here to review Cuphead for the Xbox One. Let's get started. If you're like me, you grew up playing games like Contra and Mega Man, side-scrolling shoot-em-ups that incorporated active platforming as you murdered your way from left to right, trying not to let endlessly repeating, anger-inducing deaths cause you to banshee wail at the top of your lungs and disturb the rest of the household. Sorry, Grandma. But damn, you just couldn't stop replaying the levels over and over again, saying, just one more time, until you finally, with sweaty palms, killed that boss or made it to the finish line of the level. And then, you got to bask in the glory of that earned satisfaction, giving you that rush that makes you want to move on to the next level, only to repeat the traumatizing and fulfilling experience. If this sounds familiar, and those games are your cup of tea, Cuphead is the droid you're looking for. The game revolves around brothers Cuphead and Mugman, Cuphead if you're in single player, and both if you play local co-op, who, in true skirt the inappropriate line 1930s cartoon fashion, end up getting embroiled in the gambling scene, and make a bet with the devil that, naturally, doesn't go well, and they end up owing their souls to him. As a way to redeem themselves and avoid having to part with their souls, they agree to help clean up the land and round up and defeat all of Satan's debtors. And thus, your journey begins. You spend your time exploring the overworld, chatting it up with characters like this babe, selecting different points on the map that enter you into one of these encounters. Side-scrolling, sprawling levels, boss battles, or aerial encounters with a few deviations sprinkled in between. In these levels, you do a combination of shooting, be it with one of your standard shooting types, an EX super ability, or an ultimate ability, dodging, ducking, dip, dive, and dodging. You have a standard amount of 3 HP, which you'll lose by coming into contact with any number of flying objects, touching enemies, or falling into the abyss, and once you lose all of your HP, you're dead. One of the cool and unique aspects of this game is that when you die, you see a progress meter that displays how far through the level you are. And when you're really close to the end, it gives you even more incentive to hit that retry button. You have a basic inventory that enables you to equip purchased items or earned abilities, which can vary your gameplay style drastically, giving you new ways to approach similar situations. And that's the gist of the game. As you're putting those gameplay varieties to the test, you'll be treated with gorgeous visuals throughout. Not only are they gorgeous, but the game's got some of the best character design, variety, and animation that I've seen in a 2D game. The characters and backgrounds were hand-drawn or painted, then animated in 24 frames per second, just like the old cartoons from which the game gets its inspiration. And though it's animated that way, the game itself runs at 60 frames per second, so that in your acts of platforming and shooting desperation, the game is ultra-responsive, leaving only yourself to blame for those repeated deaths. Are you f***ing kidding me? 'Cause you had a bad day. The sound design is also just right, clearly inspired by the same era as the visuals. And the gameplay is tight and responsive, and super frustrating. And I want to point out that, though it's frustrating, the game is not unfair. It can definitely feel like it when you're trying the same level over and over and over again, but every failure that I encountered was not caused by an impossible to avoid object or an unbeatable platforming situation, but by my own error. And that's the quality that harkens back to and likens Cuphead to some of the greatest side-scrolling platforming shoot-em-ups of all time. When you die, you're learning the mechanics of a specific enemy type and starting to absorb patterns of movement and attack that enable you to finally overcome the repeating murder obstacle. Not to sugarcoat this and make it seem like, once you figure out the pattern, you're sure to succeed. No, this game is brutal. Learning the patterns of movement and attack is just a satisfying and necessary part of the journey, a la the Dark Souls series. But surely, with time and effort, you'll be able to overcome anything this game throws at you. All of that being said, I'm sure there are some things I wasn't able to get to in this review, but you're probably wondering, would I recommend this game? If it isn't obvious, yes. Between the hand-drawn, Max Fleischer-inspired art design, the authentic sound design, and the rock-solid gameplay, you'd be hard-pressed to find a game that fits the side-scrolling shoot-em-up bill better. And at $20, you won't have to gamble away your soul to enjoy this instant classic. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing as always. I'll see you next time. Later.